Are you tired of every video telling you to print faster by using less infill? Do you want more speed without sacrificing strength? Have you ever changed speed settings in your slicer and the print wasn't actually any faster?
Me too. That's why I've spent days changing one setting at a time over and over again. In this video, I want to show you what actually controls print speed so that you can understand what you need to tweak to get a faster printer, but also to understand how it will affect the quality of your prints. There's actually four things that control how fast a 3D printer will print. First, we have max speed. This is how fast your printer is allowed to actually move. Second is acceleration, and this is how quickly your printer can change direction. Third is flow. This is how quickly your printer can melt the plastic. And fourth is cooling. Cooling plays a major role in how fast your printer can print because it determines if you get ugly overhangs like this. Like most people, I started off by changing my printer speed. And the difference between Benchys 1 and 2, where I was just upping my print speed, there was actually some issues in the cooling layers for sure. There was no speed increase. So next I tried changing my acceleration. Now my acceleration by default was set to 0. Now 0 means that it's going to allow Clipper or whatever firmware you have on your printer to control your acceleration. So I decided to change that value in the slicer here. But there's a problem with that. If I change this setting here, then I'm not allowing Clipper to do its job. Acceleration set to 0 doesn't mean we have no acceleration. What it means is, Clipper, you're in control. You control the acceleration. We trust you. And this sent me down a spiral of trying to figure out how to get my printer printing faster. Because what I actually did by changing these acceleration settings is make my printer print slower. Your slicer actually has two acceleration settings. It has your acceleration and your max acceleration that the printer will allow. And so I was upping my acceleration here, but I wasn't changing the max acceleration that my printer would allow. So to actually get my printer to print faster, I had to leave the acceleration settings here set to 0. But then I had to go into the print settings and actually change what the maximum acceleration my printer would allow. And this is interesting because you have this maximum acceleration here in the slicer, but you also have this acceleration setting here in Clipper under the printer config. As a developer, this was frustrating to me because when we write code, we use the dry principle, which is do not repeat yourself. And I felt like they were doing this. But this is actually extremely important because you could kill your printer by the slicer settings you send to it if your printer didn't protect itself by its firmware. So the firmware helps the printer protect itself, whereas the slicer allows you to send more customizable settings to it. Printing this fast on a stock Ender 3 V2 didn't give me good print settings because at this point now I'm suffering from issues with flow and cooling. When cooling can't keep up, your layers get soft, and this causes them to droop and hang. When extrusion can't keep up, you end up with gaps, and there's no amount of slicing that's going to fix this problem. The cool thing about this is, as I was going through this, I realized that the printer is telling me what I need to upgrade if I'm going to print fast. It's all about removing the correct bottlenecks. So acceleration allows Clipper to move more rapidly. Flow and cooling have a major impact in the overall quality, but we can see that speed settings alone don't tell the whole story. So in a future video, I'm going to look at actually upgrading this printer, providing a new hot end and better cooling so that I can really get a high quality Benchy printing much faster on this Ender 3 V2.